What is up, guys? Welcome to JS Racing. My name is Jason. So it's been a while since I last done any updates on the track construction. Um, Today is actually the final day where we allow the base layer of the track to settle down. So tomorrow we're going to start laying down the first layer of the asphalt, and we're going to do two layers. Um, we're very excited about that, but we're also very worried because tomorrow the temperature is going to be somewhere around 5 to 6 degrees Celsius, which is not ideal for laying down asphalt because uh, ideally speaking, you'd want to lay down asphalt when it's like above 10, 15 degrees Celsius. So what's the implication for lower temperatures? Well, asphalt, before you lay it down, it has to be heated up and then it's laid down, compacted, blah blah. It's a bit like little pieces of rock with glue stuck together, and then it's like once it cools down, everything's like holding on to each other. That's basically what asphalt is, I suppose. But if the temperature is too cold, then the mixture will cool down a bit too early. And when that happens, you can imagine if you have a bunch of rocks that is like, not uniform, it's being poured down. And as it pours down, it sort of like starts cooling down and holding onto each other. Because of that non-uniformity, um, it's going to cool down in all sorts of weird shapes. And the biggest problem with that would be air pockets forming within these non-uniform chunks. On top of that, because it's cooling down a bit earlier, you might have problem with adhesion when you're trying to compact it. Like it's a bit like super glue curing a bit too quickly, and then your whatever piece that you're trying to stick on is not stuck in the right position. So it's a bit like that. And because of that, and when you can't compact it properly, it will have weaker bonds between the pieces of little rocks. And when that happens, in the long term, you're going to have like chunks of the asphalt layer or the track flaking off. It's going to break into pieces. It's going to have problems. And especially for colder climates, you're going to have water seeping in. And then as ice forms, it's going to expand and then push away these little pieces as well. So it's going to break the track surface a lot sooner than when it's properly laid down. So we're quite worried about that because theoretically speaking, it's going to reduce the lifespan of the surface by at least half. And that would mean that we have to resurface the entire track probably a lot sooner. And that's quite a bit of money. But the biggest reason for that happening is really something that we could not control. And that's also why we're so upset about it. We got delayed by, I think, 5 to 6 days of work. We got stopped for some really ridiculous reason. And because of that, we just completely missed our asphalt window. We could have been doing it from last week, which was warmer. But yeah, now we're just going to have to think of other ways to keep the mixture a bit hotter. Maybe use tent or whatever, heating elements, whatever it may be, to keep the mixture a bit hotter, warmer when we lay it down, when we compact it. So it's going to be a bit slower than expected to complete it because we need to lay down two layers. And that's basically what's happening right now. But anyway, we'll figure it out. But all in all, it's still progressing okay. And we're aiming to open around middle of February next year. So we still got a couple of months to go. I think after the asphalt is done, we'll have to immediately start on the building. It's going to be like a steel structure building, so it's not going to be too difficult to build. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. Let me just quickly show you guys what the track looks like right now from the air. So from the air, you can clearly see the entire outline of the track. You might notice there are like pieces of black stuff placed on the track. That's really just like protective blankets that they're laying down to keep the base layer warm or something, or keep the moisture out. I don't know. But this video was taken before they completed that. So yeah, now they're actually today they're bringing in new equipment, taking out all these blankets so that they can get ready for the asphalt tomorrow. But yeah, that's basically what it looks like for the past week or so. And I also took another video of what it looks like to go through the track. So just let me show you real quick so that you guys can have an idea of what it looks like to drive through the track. So in this video, the starting position is the grid of track B. I'll explain to you guys a bit later why there's a track B and a track A, and also there's a track C. So anyway, we're starting from track B. This is the grid. This is one of the longer straight stretches of the track. It's about 136 meters. It's a downhill slope followed by a pretty large right-hander hairpin sort of corner. And then it's going to be followed by an uphill stretch. It's about 130 meters, not that long, but for a lot of the four-stroke engines, this is already pretty long. So we're going to have to figure out a suitable gear ratio, because right now, for most of the tracks, we use 4:1, but this is a much larger track compared to the existing tracks that we test our engine on. So we're gonna have to go even lower, maybe like 3.8 or 3.6 or something. But anyway, so we're now coming up to the longest straight section of the entire track. This is about 157 meters, so it's really, really long. So if we don't have the right gear ratio, it's gonna be really difficult for four-stroke engines. For two-stroke engines, I think it's okay, but yeah, I think they need to adjust the gear ratio as well. Anyway, so this is the first large corner with camber. So this corner, when I added the camber, it was more for safety reason, because the edge of the track is fairly close and it's pretty high-speed corner. So I added some on camber just to make sure that the carts, when they fly out, they're not like, full send into the wall. And then followed by the second large corner. This is actually the largest corner. It's also on camber. Again, this is designed to, allow the user to just go full throttle. So if you connect the straight section with this corner and then this following straight section, you're talking about like 250 meters of full throttle. So again, gonna be very difficult for the engines. So after that is a right-hand corner, and then now we're really entering track A. So this whole section is track A. It's a bit different. Track B is more like a high-speed section. So track A is a bit more technical. It's got a couple of hairpin corners, followed by a increasing radius complex corner. So this is the uphill, and then you got a relatively tight hairpin, and then it's a downhill that goes into that increasing radius complex corner. So if you know Shanghai International Circuit, this is the same as corner 1, 2, 3 of that circuit, but reversed. So we start from the smallest radius and then we increase. So this corner is, again, it's very technical. So if you screw up one of the corners here, it's going to ruin all of the rest of your lap time, starting from that first corner. So yeah. And this corner actually made it off camber. So it's going to be pretty interesting to take this high-speed corner and off camber. It's going to be pretty interesting. That was intentional, obviously. So yeah. Anyway, so this straight section is now the grid of track A. It's about 130 meters long. And then instead of going straight, we take a left because we need to connect back to track B. So we got a couple of corners connecting us back to track B. And then on the left-hand side where you see the excavator, that's the paddock area. So we're now back into the grid of track B. So what is track C? Well, track C is basically track A and track B connected together. So that entire video was track C. Anyway, so let me just show you real quick what it looks like on the drawing. And I don't think I've shown you guys this layout as well. This is like a newer version. I don't know if I've shown you guys. Maybe I have. I don't know. Anyway, so this entire piece is about 230 by 240 meters. It's about 50 something thousand square meters. Pretty big. Unfortunately, the shape is not that interesting. So yeah, it's a bit boxy. The entrance to the entire site is here. So this is the main road. There's actually a highway on this side, and I think there's a railway station somewhere, and also a MTR station, like a subway station. So it's fairly convenient for people to travel to this project. This is the car park area. It's got about, I think, 40 or something spaces. This is the main square, and this is the main entrance to the building. The reception center is here. This is the access road to the paddock area. The paddock area is about, I think, 2,000 square meters. It's close to what the CIK regulation requires for the paddock area. So there's plenty of space for like team tents and, you know, tire areas, parfume, you know, all that jazz. Anyway, so for any, you know, race teams, they want to access their garage. Their garage is here, and they just take this access road and they can drive straight to their garage area. They can park here or park there, it doesn't matter. So on top is track A, and track A has its own dedicated pit lane. Track B is here, and it's got its own pit lane as well. But also, this is the main pit lane for track C. So the majority of the stuff is actually here at the bottom. So the proper grid, the starting gantry, everything, you know, the engineer's, I don't know, the engineer's tent or something, mechanic's tent, the platform where people can just stand there and then, you know, signal to their driver or whatever, watch their driver. They can stand here across the pit lane from here, obviously. And the top track is designed to be a bit more technical, a bit slower, because it was designed for daily operation for rental cars. But the bottom is high speed, so it's more for like, you know, more pro or experienced drivers to drive their competition cars. So there's no rental cars that's going to be driving here. Okay, I mean, if you drove rental car here, it's going to be a bit too slow. It's going to be boring. So this is more for like, you know, KZ and like, well, actually, KZ is for like track A and B combined together. That's KZ. For this, it's more like okay. So, you know, like juniors, okay, whatever. They're going to be driving in this track. It's about 1 kilometer long. This is about 800 meters, 790 meters. Together, it's going to be added up to about 1.8. So it's a pretty large track. And the benefit of this configuration is we can operate two tracks at the same time. So most of the attention is going to be focused on this side of the track because, you know, rental customers, they're more like inexperienced. So all of the attention, the safety stuff is going to be here. Competition cars, they're more experienced. They are more aware of the safety precautions, all that stuff. So I would say this side of the track is more autonomous. We don't need to worry too much about this area as long as we have like proper signaling, session timetable, all that stuff. It's going to be cool. You know, this area is going to be, yeah, lower stress in terms of operation. At least that's we're hoping. So you can see, these red lines represent the straight stretches, and there's a measurement for all these straight stretches. The the biggest corner of this track is here, and that's the one with the big camber on camber. So if you connect the 84 to the 110, 101, and this corner, you're looking at, I don't know, like 240, maybe even 250, connected together. So add on top of that, you consider, you start your full throttle from here, and then you go all the way. You're talking about, like, I don't know, 300 meters of full throttle, because you don't really need to brake throughout this chicane. You can just you just need to swerve a little bit. So that's a pretty long stretch of full throttle. So I don't know. It's gonna be quite a challenge for a lot of the engines. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The track A, we're not too worried. We're actually more worried about this complex corner, because if you are configuring your kart to run well for these long stretches, then you're going to have a bit of a problem with torque going through these smaller corners, because you can't really configure the karts for both. I mean, for KZ is not a problem because you can change gears, but for like normal non-gear changing karts, you're going to have a problem going from these to these. So yeah, for these small corners, the karts are going to be traveling very, very slowly, maybe even have problems even driving. I don't know. So this is a downhill, and then this is off camber. So it's going to be sloping outwards. And this is uphill. This is downhill. This is uphill. This is on camber, on camber. I think that's about it. All the more, unique features of the track. But yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. Let me just show you real quick what it looks like separated and combined together. So this is when it's separated. Oh shit. Yeah. So this is what it looks like when it's separated. Yeah, it's fairly independent of each other. There's plenty of room for runoffs. And then when combined with each other, then that's what it looks like. Yeah. So to return to the pit lane for this entire track, you have to return quite early from here. So if you pit, it's gonna take a lot longer. But that's applicable to everyone, so it doesn't really matter. For the track B, the return is a lot quicker. So yeah, but obviously you can't use this when you are, doing this track, because it's gonna be too dangerous. It's like we're talking about an immediate left turn. Yeah, that's too dangerous. So I had the entrance here, so it's a lot safer. Yeah. So that's basically what the track layout looks like. So after the asphalt is laid down, we're going to be starting on the building fairly soon. So let me just show you a couple of pictures of what the building might look like. It's going to be built quite in a simple manner. It's just going to be like, what do you call it? The modified containers, modified shipping containers. So it's a fairly big building. It's about, I think, in total size, about 1,500 square meters. It's got 3 levels. The top level is the race control, and then you have like VIP rooms and a massive platform for people to check out the race or whatever. Level 2 is indoor rest area for customers, and it's also got a platform on top of our workshop. So level 1 is basically storage for karts and our workshop, and that's where we do all the engine work, kart setups, whatever. Yeah, so customers actually need to take the stairs to go straight to second floor to buy their tickets or whatever, and then they come back down to level 1 to get on their carts. So yeah, that's basically the configuration of our building. Anyway, so that was a quick look at our track, and I'll keep you guys posted as to the construction progress. We are trying to expedite a lot of the things as well because we only got 2 months left, 2.5 months if you consider. Well, I mean, there's the holidays as well, so you might have workers taking time off. So realistically speaking, we're talking about 2 months. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get everything done. Even if we don't open around then, I think we should be able to open around March. I don't know. I think we're a bit optimistic, but yeah, you need to set goals and targets, to work towards, right? Anyway, so that's it for this video. It's pretty long-winded. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep you guys updated as to how the track is gonna be looking very soon. Anyway, I'll see you guys later, man. Peace.